diamond painted on stream, but one day after move, I crochet, cross stitch, and game as well. You game? What do you game? You. Been showering your whole life? I hope so. Either showering or taking a bath. That is a good thing. Oh, I only do baths if sick. Yeah, I can't do baths mainly because I'm too big for the tub, too wide. That if I sit in it, it's side of the tub, me, side of the tub. There's no room for the water. And also getting in and out is not fun. So, done house flipper and power washer. I've been on a binge of Genshin and supermarkets simulator. Very cool. I've seen people do house flipper, power washer, and super. Well, I've seen people do all of them. Hey there, Eduhuman. Let me get, since we're giving out shout outs. Eduhuman does all different types of things: cooking streams, just chatting streams. He's done some crafting streams. Relatively new affiliate member here on Twitch. I'm pretty good. My old tub was a huge jacuzzi tub. Oh, nice. I've never been in a jacuzzi or a hot tub. I'm not that big. Oh yeah, I am pretty fat. I am pretty fat, edgy human. So yeah, no. Um, yes, they are now affiliate. There's been a lot of newer affiliate streamers that have been popping up, and I'm glad to know that my community and a lot of other communities have helped make that happen. Okay. Hey there, Moth. That's another person that streams. They stream from time to time. They play games and they knit. That. Oh, I thought it was over. That headset was pretty cool, Moth. That's an aviation headset, right? Um, because I think you are an amateur or you're learning to fly. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I um, what showed up? Oh, Bell's is the one that Bell's clipped with your husband. Um, yeah, Bob. Bob showed up. Um, uh, I'm pretty good, Moth. How are you, Dad joke? Dad joke. Wait a minute. A red and a blue ship have just collided in the Caribbean. Apparently, the survivors were marooned. That's how you were born. Yeah, you were marooned. Missed it because of the thunderstorm. Yes, it was. And how is the storm? Hopefully everything's okay. I mean, obviously it's going on right now, but hopefully everybody is safe. Not what I meant. Well, okay, that kind of makes sense. A red ship and a blue ship have collided, so that is a wreck, a shipwreck. and you are marooned on, you're out to sea. Um, it's light. Storms are either wimpy or full blown. Trees. Oh wow! I love a good thunderstorm as long as they don't do any damage. Just wimpy with some drops of rain, and that's it. Yeah, oh yeah, you do. Yeah, that technically is a desert. That technically is a desert. Speaking of storms, the other week, it was Wednesday, we had a bunch of storms come through here, and it was confirmed there were 7 tornadoes that touched down. Most of them were an EF0. I think one I heard was an EF1. I don't think there was like lots of damage, and I think there was only minor injuries. I could be wrong. Or am I in the foot? No, I am making the head and the body. This is the head and the body. Hopefully, I'm counting right. 1, 2, 3. No, I'm not. Crap. Crap. This always happens when I talk. We gotta. No, round 5. We could do in 3. So 1, 2. Tornado went through Gamber and may have been an EF2. Oh, okay. Thank you, Grammy. Grammy has been keeping an eye on the updates of the storms that came through last week. 2, 3. Like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I didn't have any of this orangey color for it, so I'm using this reddish brown, which it's got different. There's different flecks and colors in it, so I like it. It looks more. It's a little more on the redder tone than on the brown tone to me. All right, what is round 6? On the next 4, 2, and if you type an exclamation point magical, that can get you the Amazon link for this book. You don't have to buy it on Amazon, but that is a place that's widely available. You can get it where most books are sold. Unlimited Kindle as well. Oh, very cool. Working on attempt number 6 of an. Oh, you're doing an Emmy? What Emmy are you doing, Supreme? 4. Those of you didn't know, when I was the other week when I was teaching Ship how to crochet, Supreme was silently learning along. Third pattern because I couldn't understand the others. Um, it's a chick. Oh, cool. Very cool. Is it a sew one where you have to sew body parts on, kind of like this, kind of like what I'm making tonight, where you make separate parts and you have to sew them on, or does a no sew like this, where you make it and then Just a beak? Or is that what you're working on? If you need any pointers and tips for Ammies, I can try to guide you. Around 6. So we need Yes, ship. Yes, you could make a snake. I thought I only had to sew on a beak, but I have wings and feetsies too. Okay. Don't worry about the sewing on part right now. Just focus on the individual pieces. And now, I don't know how the pattern is written. Head to the body. Okay, I don't know how your pattern is written, but like this pattern here, it is telling me to make all the body parts, and then once all the body parts are made, then you assemble them one by one. Some patterns want you to assemble as you go, which I don't like that. I like making all my parts and then put them together. I would recommend that. I don't really think um, it would be a big deal if you did it that way, even if the pattern says to do it as you go. I mean, like, and this pattern will tell me stuff as I go. I don't stuff as I go. I stuff at the end. Um, you understand that? Okay. As you can see, it to be more seamless. Actually, yes and no. You can make it seamless after it's done. Like this, there are techniques. Now, I wasn't really good there, but that first antler, I was really good with making it seamless. There are ways that you can do that, and I wasn't that good with putting the arms on this one, but it wasn't a big breaking point for me. Okay, let me reread that pattern. Okay, 6 in the magic ring. Are you able to do the magic ring, Supreme? Because I know some people have problems with the magic ring. Uh, to increase. Okay, round 3, single increase. Yep, yep, that makes sense. That I was reading the pattern. You don't even know what that is. You don't know what is ship. Oh, the magic ring. Okay, I can show you the magic ring. You don't have to do it along with me. Yeah, I didn't. No, I didn't want to do it do other lessons. All right, so you see the circle here, and the brown really isn't a good example, but you can see it. Second row, double stitches to increase, and crocheting. So wait, second row, double stitches to increase. When you mean double stitches, what do you mean? Usually with an increase, you're putting 2 stitches in that 1 stitch. Actually, let me do this now. I'm gonna pin your comment so I can go back to that because that's a basic circle. Yes, 2 and 1. Yeah, I usually say increase or 2 and 1, not to be confused with a double crochet. And then crochet and increase on the next, so every other. Yeah. No, 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 no. So round number 2. Round number 2, each stitch you're putting an increase. So you're putting 2 stitches into each stitch for round number 2. You're not doing an increase and then the next one do it. Uh, yeah. Actually, you know what? Let's actually do this. Let's actually do this. We can the kitsune can go to the side for a moment. It's Chinese to you? Okay. And this is a good way to explain what a magic ring is because if you noticed, the magic ring, the center of my circle, there's no hole in it. It's cinched up. With the magic ring, you'll stick to your blanket. If you ever want to make the Emmys, you need to learn the magic ring. There's no hole in it. You don't want a hole in your piece. So it cinches up like a drawstring, like the hood on a sweatshirt, or like trash bags where you pull it and it cinches it tight. So I can show you how that's done. There's different ways of doing it. I'm going to show you the way I do it, and you don't have to go along with me. So I hold the cut end in my hand, wrap it around my 2 index fingers to form an X. So again, wrap it over, form an X, and put my thumb on the X, turn my hand, and put that in between my middle and ring finger. So I have parallel lines. I'm going to take my hook, I'm going to go under, and I have the hook thing pointing down. I'm going to go under the first one and over the second one. So I'm going to grab that, I'm going to pull and turn so the hook is now facing to the sky. And I'm going to get that onto my hook. Some people actually do the stitch now. I think that's what Hijinks was teaching. I don't do it that way, which is fine. There's different ways. I'm going to hold everything, take it off my fingers, hold everything, and I'm going to transfer that from my right hand to my left hand and hold everything there. That's what works for me. There's different things work for everybody. And I'm going to chain 1. Now, this ring here, this loop, this is our magic ring. We're going to be working our stitches into this. Instead of working into a chain or into a specific stitch, everything gets worked into this big circle. And for the round 1, for what Supreme just posted, we're going to do 6 single crochets. So you're going to do, and you're going into this big circle and do your stitches. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I've got my 6. I'm going to pull my loop really tall just so I don't end up losing it. So I have my 6 singles in there. I'm going to hold my work, and my cut end, what I usually do is I untwist it because it got twisted when I made the magic ring. So I'm going to untwist it, and I'm going to hold and pinch, and with my left hand I'm going to pull my tail. And it's, pay attention to this right here, that loop. It cinches up, and it's now in between my thumb and my finger. And now we have a closed center, and now we can work around in the round. And now we're ready for round number 2. I'm going to hold my tail to the back. So the tail that's coming out, just keep it out of the way. You do the alternate. Yeah, there's different ways of doing a magic ring. That's the way I do it. So we now have 6 stitches, and then for round 2, each of those 6 stitches gets 2 stitches. And I can show you, this is the way I say it in my head. If it's an increase, meaning you're putting 2 stitches into 1 stitch. There's a stitch right here. I think it's really neat, all the different ways people come up with making the same kind of, yes, just pay Cub to mail you a bunch of magic rings. No, not happening. So anytime, so in this stitch, I'm going to put 2 stitches, so 2 single crochets in that 1 stitch. That's an increase. Anytime you put more than 1 stitch into 1 existing stitch, that's an increase because you're increasing the number. When I go into that stitch, I count. So our instructions say increase 6 times. What that means is there are 6 stitches around. Each of those 6 stitches will get an increase. And when I do the increases, I'm counting to myself. So I'm going to go in, and we're going to do 1, and in the same stitch, so in that very same stitch we went, I use the word and. because that means 1 and 2 are together. 1 and 2 in that stitch. And I am going to mark my first stitch with my stitch marker. Amigurumi's stitch markers come in handy. And then the next stitch is an increase. So that gets 1 and 2 stitches. The next one gets 1 and 2. The next one gets 1 and 2. The next one gets 1 and 2. And this last one gets 1 and 2. You're at the end. You should have 12 stitches. This is a very common multiple. What does 2 stitches do? Okay, what 2 stitches does, if we only did 1 stitch, into each stitch, we'd form a tube. Remember the beaded crochet jewelry that I did on stream and the one that I gave Supreme? That's how you would do that. You would just do 1 in each, and it would make a long tube. If you want to make a flat circle, you need to increase because you're going out horizontally instead of vertically. So it all depends on what you want to make. Hey there, Retro Gamer. So we have gone from round 1, we had 6, and we've added 2 to each. So we've doubled it. So now we have 12. It's very common for stitching in the round to have multiples of 6. So the first one had 6 stitches. The next round now has 12. And then for round 3, we're going to end up having 18 stitches. And I can show you how to do that. No increase to make a hot dog. Yeah, it depends on how it's done. There are ones that you increase and then you stop increasing. Actually, you want me make, I can make a hot dog. I can make you a blue hot dog right now. That's easy to do. So eventually do you a decrease? Yes. You definitely do eventually do a decrease. Like for here. I kept increasing and increasing and increasing for this moose head. And then I got to a point I stopped increasing. And then when I got down here, I started to decrease to get a round form. I can make a hot dog. We're going to make a blue hot dog. I don't know if I want to eat a blue hot dog, but we have 12 stitches there. Now I'm going to do another round. Supreme's pattern that she posted does something called single crochet and then an increase. So in our next stitch, which is going to be the stitch, we're going to make the first stitch of our third round. So that stitch gets a single crochet. That's 1. So that is stitch number 1. I'm going to mark my stitch number 1. And this is the way I do it. So that is 1. And in the next stitch, we're doing an increase. So this is 2 and 3 go in that stitch. And that's the repeat for round 3. So the next stitch gets 1. Then the next stitch gets stitch number 2 and 3. The next stitch gets stitch 1. Then the next stitch gets numbers 2 and 3. And so on. So round 3 that I'm on now, and you notice I'm doing 1, 2, and 3. That is on the third round. See how that works? There are 3 stitches to the repeat of round 3. So 1, then 2, and 3. And we're on round 3. 1, then 2, and 3. And we should have 18. I'm not going to count, but it's always good to count. If you're first starting and you're not certain, you should have 18 stitches around. And when you're counting any type of stitches, it's easy to count the V. So if you turn it on its side and you count these little V stitches, these little formations. So we've done 3 rounds. I'm going to do one more round. I got to see what Supreme's round goes to 4. Okay. No counting, just cross your fingers. You can do that. You're not going to get most likely what you want. That's more of like a free form crochet, which is a thing. So that was round 3. So round 4, it's going to be a multiple of 4. So our little repeat that we're doing all the way around in a circle, it's going to be 4 stitches. So the first stitch gets 1. I'm going to put my cross stitch down. I'm going to put my stitch marker into my stitch. So that's 1. Then the next one is 2. And then the next stitch gets stitches number 3 and number 4. So we've done 4 stitches in a segment. We are on round 4. Knitting for years, and I still like to check my stitches. Yes. So we're going to do another segment, another wedge. Think of it as like wedges on a circle, like wedges of a lemon. You put however many wedges together to make a full lemon. Think of it that way. You're doing segments. So this first one gets stitch 1. Then the next one gets stitch 2. That's what and it's pinned to the top where it says 2 single crochet, comma increase. Those 2 stitches, 1 in one stitch, 1 in another. That's the 2 single crochet. And then the next stitch gets stitches number 3 and number 4. Hey there, Sly Lady. How are you? You want to think of wedges of a cake, wedges of a pie, wedges of a watermelon, wedges of whatever. So 1, then 2, and then this next stitch gets stitch 3 and 4. And then we do that again. 1, then 2, then 3. And every time I say then, I go to the next stitch. Then 3 and 4. And I stay in the same, when I say the word and, I stay in the same stitch. So let's say that again. Then we're going to go to 1, then 2, then 3, and when I say and to myself or out loud, we're in the same stitch. That's and 4. Last couple days, my first 8 granny squares. Really very cool. Very, very cool. 1, 2, 3, 3, and 4. All right. So that's as far as Supreme has posted, which is fine. You don't have to post the whole thing. After round 4, you should have 24 stitches because we started with 6. We actually made 6 little wedges. We made 6 little wedges, and each wedge had 4 stitches. So 6 times 4 is 24. There's math. Now I'm going to show you the rest of the magic ring. Now that we have something to hold on to, I'm going to flip it over. And there is a little bit of hole in the center here. I didn't tighten it up all the way. So there's a hole. So I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to take my tail and I'm going to pull really tight. And that really cinches it up. And then you can weave that in. I'm not going to worry about weaving this in now. But you can use a yarn needle. I would cut this a little shorter and weave it into your stitches so it doesn't come undone. So that is how you do a circle. You can keep going bigger depending on your pattern. We're now going to make a hot dog. A thick hot dog? Okay, it's a bratwurst. So we have 24 stitches. Now to do a hot dog, we need to stop increasing. We don't need to make it bigger around. We need to make it long. So we're not going to increase at all. So the next stitch, I'm going to put in a stitch and my stitch marker. Now the way I'm doing this, that I prefer to do it, is not the slip stitch method. There is a way that you finish around and you slip stitch to join, and then you chain up and keep going for the next round. I don't like that. It can get a little confusing. Saw a really cool post on Knitting Crochet Group on Facebook where a lady been given her great-grandmother's crochet squares, and she was asking her ideas what to do with them. She never met her great-grandmother, wants to do something with them in memory. Oh, I like that. I like that. That is very, very cool. You don't like the slip stitch to join and then chain up and then do, I don't like that either. A lot of amigurumi doesn't use that. I